Welcome to episode 106 of the Concealed Taco Dudes podcast.
I was going to say, today it is just the Concealed Taco.
It's just the Concealed Taco podcast.
Yeah.
There are no dudes. I was going to say, we need to get a soundbite of like a big crowd cheering.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be way better than us.
Yeah. I don't know. Our listeners might appreciate our enthusiasm.
They
Get
want
pumped.
the genuine, yeah.
So today we have just me, Taco, and Jason.
Jason, Concealment Solutions.
Gene couldn't make it, and
Gene's out killing stuff with his double rifle.
with some cast bullets, hopefully.
Probably,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And then the dudes are out sick.
They are out sick.
Stan infected them.
Funny how they both get sick together.
At the same time.
I told them.
Yeah, Stan got sick, and I don't know what they were doing in the back of their truck.
They need to delouse the blonde wig.
Carl
apparently.
is sick too. So infer what you want.
Yeah. Cool.
Let's hit some sponsors. NOEBulletMolds.com. Use coupon code FLT001 and it'll save you a few bucks.
Yep.
I just barely got back from there.
Yeah, that's shocking.
Yeah, right. I went down. I was talking with Al about a couple of different ideas. He was one of his customers sent a picture of it's the Lee Universal Expander die.
Okay.
And Al uses that in conjunction with a bunch of his products, like his little expander plugs and a couple other things. Like we have the seating, like basically a top punch holder that you could throw in there too and make it a custom seating die for like pointy cast bullets, etc.,
Gotcha.
right?
Okay.
So one of his customers sent in a picture and it had like a cutout in that die so that you can actually like kind of see what's going on in there. And I was thinking about that could kind of be helpful.
It doesn't affect how it works?
No, nothing, because it doesn't rely on the sides of the die for
I gotcha.
like anything. So the question I have for the listeners, the reloaders out there, if you could benefit from one of those, then let us know, because Al was still wondering how much of a demand there would be for those.
Yeah.
I told him I think he should just do a run of them, like 50 of them or something, and just see.
Market it as a limited edition or something, and if they go crazy, then
he could always make more.
Make it a regular product, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, anyways, I think it'd be cool because sometimes in my videos, if I want to show what's going on, that would be cool to have it opened up and
I could see that.
Not lose any integrity of the die.
Yeah.
Because it's you're not sizing with it or anything, so you don't need all the walls present. So. Right. Anyways, that was kind of a cool idea. I did pick up another mold. Actually,
Shocking.
We'll talk about that in what we do with guns.
Okay.
But yeah, NOEBulletMolds.com.
FLT001.
All right, and Utah Air Guns.
Yes.
And you brought over something that you were working on.
I did. I'll talk about that in what I did with guns.
So Utah Air Guns, their website is utahairguns.com.
Correct.
Use coupon code
Air Candy.
And that'll give you
free shipping and free turret stickers for your scope, so you can dial in your shots faster.
Nice.
Good stuff.
I actually have been... So I went crazy and visited them 3 days in a row last week. And I purposely not stopped by this week because I gotta save some money up. I looked at those thermal optics, the Pulsar, and man, it's like...
those would be so cool.
Oh yeah,
but geez,
I'm telling you, we got to get a Concealed Taco Dudes thermal scope.
Yeah,
yeah, and that would be cool.
Yeah, what are they?
I was walking around 3+.
Yeah,
3
That's
to 6
entry
probably.
level.
Yeah,
well,
not. I mean, the Pulsar ones are the best.
Yeah,
they have the ATNs that are a little less, and it's just if you ask guys who do it all the time,
right.
They say Pulsar is the way to go.
Sure.
So when you're spending that much money on something,
you might as well spend a bunch more.
I think it's go big or go home.
Yeah.
Combined with buy once, cry once. That's kind of my philosophy. But I I just got to figure out how much I could afford and just start saving.
Do I need a new thermal scope, or should I buy my daughter a nice used car?
Thermal scope. I think I told my wife I was going to try and get one.
Yeah.
She laughed. She's like, well, you have lots of guns you can sell to pay for that.
True.
Like, so I actually have been looking through my safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I haven't shot that in a long time. I could maybe get rid of that. Right now is a good time to,
Yeah, the market's still pretty strong.
Yeah.
So.
But.
Cool.
So UtireGuns.com.
Go check them out.
And Black Ice.
Black Ice Coatings.
Yes. So I talked to our mutual pawn shop friend.
Oh, yes.
So he recently he was about to pick up his Scar that he took to a different shop.
I talked to him about that.
Yes, we'll just say a different shop. We won't name names.
Yeah. And
he was very upset and unimpressed with the coating job.
Well, and it took him months.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Months. Yeah.
They were like really dodgy on stuff too.
Right.
So
we had that conversation, and I told him, in fact, I sent him Lee's info. I'm like, dude, just talk to this guy. He will take care of it. And I showed him some of the stuff he's done for me, and he's like,
when did you talk to him about that?
It's been probably a month or more.
Okay.
Yeah. It was before he had the gun back.
Yeah. So I talked to him last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he had pictures of the gun.
Yeah.
And he made a stink about it, and so they're gonna. I think the owner of that business decided to redo the gun.
I would almost be more like,
just give me my money back.
Yeah, just give me my money back, and I will take it to somebody that actually can do what they said they can do.
Yeah. Anyways, so
that's disappointing.
I haven't really met a disappointed customer from Black Ice.
I haven't either.
And he's more prompt than a lot of businesses.
Yeah. I mean, he gets backed up, but
he'll let you know.
Yeah. If he tells you it's going to be done this day, if for some reason it's not going to happen, he will let you know beforehand.
Yeah.
But more times than not, it's ready and done when he says, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I still want to do one in Nerf gun colors.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know which gun. Huh. And I want to do the Flying Pigs.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to do the 35 Taco Teeny, the first gun in that.
Yeah.
I'll get it coated in the
I need to look at his samples and figure out what I'm going to do on my mountain bike fork this winter while it's fat bike season.
Yeah. So blackicecoatings.com, use the coupon code SLICKERY.
Yeah. See what happens.
And tell them that the Concealed Tacos sent you.
Nice.
All right. So we haven't had one of these in a while, but since the change of the season, we wanted to do our Prepper Minute, and it might take more than a minute because we want to talk about a few basics.
Our Prepper segment.
The Prepper segment. So, Jason.
Yes.
Now that the season is changing a little bit, going from hot summer to fall/winter. Yeah. There are a few things we should consider.
Yes. First of all, you need to switch out your food in your 72-hour kit. We do it every 6 months, and this is the time of the year that we do it. So we'll be doing it this weekend. If you have not gone through your food in your 72-hour kit or your bug-out bag, whatever
terminology you use, it's the same thing.
It's time.
Okay.
Swap it out, keep it fresh. And then we talk a little bit about your vehicle. Why it's important to have at least a few essential items in your vehicle at all times. And anyway, why don't you take off with that?
I was going to say, the chances of a disaster happening and you being stuck in your home is far greater, like power goes out or earthquake or whatever. Right. More than likely, you're going to be at home and you're going to have all your gear. Yeah. But if you're not at home with all your gear, where are you going to be?
You're going to be in a vehicle.
A vehicle, or you'll be at work where you have access to your vehicle.
Right. And on top of that, I know you and I have kind of similar lifestyles where we spend a fair bit of time in the backcountry and out and about and whatever. If you get stuck out there for whatever reason, and maybe it's because your vehicle broke down.
Yeah.
But I've broke down before and not had some basic things, and it's like, oh, this sucks. This sucks bad. So just having a few things can make that experience a whole lot better. Or, worst case scenario, you're at work or you're out on a trip or whatever, and worst case scenario, the end of the world happens, a massive earthquake, you can't go back to your home or something. Hopefully you've got enough stuff that is going to keep you going for at least a few days till you can get
until
somewhere
you can
safe.
Walk to your home, maybe if you're close enough.
Yeah.
Or just keep you safe
Or
with
just,
your vehicle.
Hopefully you have other locations that you can go to in situations like that, whether it's family or friends that live in the area but far enough away that they're not affected by the same disaster or whatever, or you have a remote location or whatever. So those are all things that you need to be thinking about.
Okay, so what are the top items you would recommend having in your vehicle?
Okay.
So we'll go back and forth.
Okay. You start.
Okay, so one of them is a jacket.
Yep.
So extra clothing to keep you warm just in case.
Yeah.
So, and I change that depending on the season. So in the summer when it's really hot, I'll have like a lighter, like a sweatshirt or something that's more appropriate for the scenario.
Okay. I would go just a step beyond that and say that you should have a change of clothing.
Okay.
I have clean underwear because your mama says.
Yeah.
Just in case, you never know. I have a pair of pants and a shirt. I have extra socks. I have a hat and I have a down jacket.
Okay.
And part of the process, a lot of people might be listening to this go, well, dude, I have like one nice jacket. I'm not going to just stick it in my car. It's tough because you don't want to use crap in this situation. But, so the jacket that I have in mind now is one that I've used for years. It's got a couple holes in it that have been patched and stuff. And I'm like, okay, it's time for a new down jacket. Bought a new one. That one got put in the car. I more or less have my 72-hour kit in my vehicle. It's in a tote.
So you have the extra set of clothes. I actually do also carry. I have my gym bag that I leave there, which has like a extra pair of socks, shoes, and then like gym clothes in case I was gonna play sports with the scouts or whatever. Right. And then in addition, I have that jacket, and I usually have a couple jackets because I've gone on campouts where certain boys tend to forget anything with long sleeves, and they forget we're going up in the mountains where it's cold.
Summer. I don't need a coat. Oh my gosh. So, we're at 10,000 feet.
I usually have a couple extra jackets. All right, so another item I have is a down blanket / pillow.
Oh, okay.
So it's a down blanket that folds up, and it has this little zipper, and it turns into a small pillow.
Cool.
That is super handy because
it's multifunctional.
It's multifunctional. Yeah. So if you get cold, you got a blanket. Yeah. But and also if you're camping and you just need a little bit extra warmth, you can use that down blanket and stuff it in your sleeping bag, and it will turn your 30-degree bag into maybe a 20 or whatever. Right. Okay. But then also I've been camping where, dang it, I forgot my pillow. Yeah. And then I use that. Yeah. And it's not as good as my regular pillow, but it sure beats, a lumpy sweatshirt stuffed together. Yeah, and I have, along those lines, I have a blanket. It's actually a quilt. I had a goal for myself a couple years ago. I wanted to make a quilt. Oh, is it ugly? Well, I mean, depending on who you ask. So I had the whole bunch of this canvas mossy oak material. So it's thick, heavy stuff. And I was talking to my sister-in-law. She's a major quilter, and she's the one that gave me all this material. And I told her I have a goal to make a quilt this year. And she's like, okay. She's like, this is the easiest quilt to make. She's like, take that material and cut it into like 4-inch strips, the full length of your blanket. And then I went to the Army surplus store around the corner, and I got this wool blend blanket. Oh yeah, and then you stuck that in the middle. And then what I did, so that's on one side, then the other side is the mossy oak stuff, but it's cut into strips, and you just sew it on upside down and then fold it over, and then you sew the next one on upside down and then fold it over. So you're sewing the fabric on while you're quilting it.
at the same time, and then I just sewed a border around it and was done. So that lives in there, and it's super heavy duty. It's going to be more or less windproof and pretty warm.
So that sounds like a pretty awesome blanket to have in a car.
It's kind of bulky, which is the downside to it, but
it has wool, which is really nice.
Super durable.
Yeah,
you know. And we also have in my wife's van, kind of like what you were talking about. They're just those cheap like Eddie Bauer. They're not even down. They're just puffy blankets that stuff down real small. And we use those all the time. We'll use them at races, mountain bike races, and it'll like dump rain and it's windy and cold, and we're like all huddled under the easy ups, and we pull those out because it doesn't matter if they get wet or muddy or whatever. Yeah, you know,
because of what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So, wait, I guess was that your item or mine or both?
Well, I kind of just went, yeah, I have that, and this is what I use for it.
Okay, so
another thing, I carry my backpacking stove or bike packing stove, whatever. It's a real small, uses the gas canisters, and it all packs down into the pot and lid and everything.
Oh, so is it, what brand? What's that?
The brand is, it's not a Jetboil.
Jetboil, okay, but it's something similar.
It's actually much smaller.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably 1.5 times the size of your coffee cup.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So it's really nice compact, and that's including the fuel canister.
Okay, so if you have the stove, do you keep some like Mountain House type stuff inside your car?
I need to, but when we get to food, I'll touch on that.
Okay.
But I do have water bottles that I store just in the cup holders in the doors.
Okay.
They're not really.
I have like a bin with a bungee around it to keep it from sliding around the back, and that's where I keep most of the stuff. And then if I go on a trip, then I pull stuff out that I want to keep, and then toss some stuff that I don't, because like I'm not going to use the gym clothes, like you know, that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
If I'm going backpacking and stuff. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things I do is, I've talked about this several times before, cheap Harbor Freight tool sets.
Yep.
So
that's where I was going to go next.
Yeah, pliers, and I have like a heavy hammer, and that's usually for hammering tent stakes, a hatchet, because you can chop and whatever.
Yep.
So pretty much anything you need for, maybe not necessarily if the car breaks down, but I have used that toolkit to help other people, like when they're moving in, moving out, or just random stuff. And having pliers and screwdrivers and wrenches, all that stuff is handy.
Yeah, so I have a couple different types of pliers and wire cutters. I have a socket set, just a simple socket set, hatchet, all that kind of stuff. And the big point with that stuff, I'm not a mechanic. If my car breaks down, I won't know what to do. But I carry that stuff because the person that stops to help me, there's a good chance they're stopping because they know how to fix stuff and want to be helpful. And guess what? I have some tools that you can use to fix my car. So even if you're not mechanically inclined, you still want that stuff. And I would say put the quality of stuff in there that you can afford to, you know. For us, it's like I'm not going to go buy a nice set of, you know, snap-on tools to throw in there because they're not going to get used that often, and the Harbor Freight stuff is going to my stuff, all my tool stuff is tucked inside behind panels in the back of my thing, so they're totally out of sight. I
have a lot of like kind of hiding hidden compartments in my vehicle. I've showed you before.
Yours is great. Mine's got a couple that are pretty good, but
if you didn't know what was like if you didn't know that specific things were in my vehicle, then you would not even
and because of these compartments we have, you can look in the back of the vehicle and it looks completely empty, and there's plenty of stuff in there
except for the pillow and the extra jacket. That's different in that one bin that no one, I don't think anyone would, it doesn't look desirable. Old gym bag.
Exactly. So another thing that I carry, I have probably 100 to anywhere from 50 to 100 feet. I have 2 different bundles of 550 cord.
Okay. Yeah.
It just, it goes unsaid what
you
use that
always
stuff for.
use it when you're camping. Like last time we used it because, for bear bags.
Yeah.
Hanging your
Yep.
food bags in the trees.
Yep, that works great for that.
And
in addition to the 550 cord, I would also strongly recommend a nice set of tie downs.
yes.
With the metal hooks and the straps that cinch down. I have seen on more than one occasion, and whether you use the ratcheting ones are kind of nice. They're a little more complicated to use.
But not really.
But I've seen people like watching off-roading stuff and a shock mount will break, and they will put it back together with a ratchet tie down.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Not that they're going super hard when that's in place, but it holds it together till they can limp out.
Yeah.
I know a guy, he had a house in Costa Rica, and they had this old piece of crap Honda Civic that they just drove, and the motor mounts broke. And they held the motor in the car with tie downs.
Oh, geez.
And never did any. That's how they drove it.
Yeah.
So a good set of tie downs can do a ton for you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've seen a couple setups where people had their hammocks.
Yeah.
And they just used tie downs.
Yeah, sure.
And it was a good, easy way for them to tighten them up and everything. But,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's easy ways to do it without. But
oh, yeah.
It was something that they could just
works.
take and use. So.
Yeah.
All right. And then another thing I would say is a fire extinguisher.
That's something I still need in my vehicle.
Yeah.
But that I don't have, for
just
sure.
even a little one for like vehicle fires or whatever. Because otherwise, if your vehicle has a little fire, how are you going to put it out?
Pee on it.
Yeah. It'll be trickier.
Oh no, that was an electrical fire. And then before we leave this subject, let's just touch on food really quick. The freeze-dried stuff, I think, is a decent option to have in there if you have a stove and a way to prepare it. Having food in your vehicle long-term is really difficult because it just, with the temperature changes, gets super hot and it gets super cold.
Protein bars turn it into
bricks.
Pottery.
Yeah, weaponized.
Yeah.
So, I have, like, hard candy is good. It's not a good long-term food source, but it's something. Granola bars and stuff like that, they have a tendency to just get kind of stale, not necessarily super hard, like a Cliff Bar or something like that.
But rotate it.
Definitely needs to be rotated. Something like jerky that's still sealed in the package, I think would... I don't know. Yeah.
That's a tough one.
And that's why I don't have a whole lot of food as far as my 72-hour kit in my vehicle. Mm-hmm. It requires a lot more effort to keep it fresh and keep it rotated and stuff like that. But there's stuff that you can do. I think the freeze-dried stuff is probably the best option for not going bad.
Yeah, different climates are going to have different recommendations. Like, it's really hard in Utah and the hot deserts like Utah, Arizona, and Nevada, where on a hot day you can melt plastics in your car. So
easy. Yeah. So those are some things to take into consideration, and I would love to hear what other people use.
Yeah, what are some things that we missed? I mean, this
was not an extensive list by any means.
There's a lot of stuff I keep in my vehicle, like extra heavy duty tent stakes and that kind of, and AR-15 with a lot of rounds, and stuff like that. But what do you guys what are your essentials? What do you make sure to keep in your vehicles?
And if you do carry food,
what kind of food do you carry?
Maybe something canned would be the way to go.
Yeah. Water purification device.
Oh, yeah.
That's water filter.
That's water filters in there. 2 different water filters.
I will say I just got a new one, or a couple new ones, that we tested out on our last backpacking trip. It was the Life Straw brand. Yeah. And it was a kit that came with a gravity bag and stuff. And
it worked good for you?
Yeah, nobody got sick. Yeah. And we drank a lot of water from it, so you have to assume that worked.
I am using a new one from Platypus.
Okay.
And I absolutely love it. The bottle is easy to fill, and it filters fast. For a squeeze filter, it's
Oh, that's cool.
It's remarkably easy. And to clean it, like if it starts getting clogged, you just put water in the back and shake it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Life Straw one.
You back flush it.
It. You take some of the purified water and then just push it back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And it comes with like a big syringe to do that.
Yep.
Stuff, so.
Yep. Cool.
All right, cool. So now let's move into what we did with guns.
Okay.
What'd you do?
Well, I have been working on a stock for my Talon P, and I think we've mentioned this a little bit. I have gone through. This is the third,
iteration?
at least, prototype of this thing. It started with a twisted Kydex, laminated and twisted kite, which it looked really cool because all the color in it was twisted and everything. It was just
too flexible.
It was spongy. Yeah. And you're not absorbing any recoil with the gun, but it just didn't feel right. It just felt goofy. And so then I took a flat piece of aluminum, I heated it and bent it and twisted it and kind of did the same thing, and that worked a whole lot better. And now I have a piece of...
kind of like a T-shape of aluminum.
That's been welded together.
Yeah.
And it still needs to be cleaned up, and then I'm taking it to Lee to... get some color on it so that it's not just the raw aluminum.
You're going to do that yellow or black or what? Because you have kind of a yellow-black thing.
I'll do it black. I think I'm going to change the colors on the Kydex pieces. But it's really cool because it just uses 2 thumb screws to mount it. Mm-hmm. And you loosen those and you can adjust the length of pull. So if kids are shooting it, you can slide it forward really easy. For a bigger shooter, you can stretch it all the way out to the end of the air tank. But it's rock solid.
So you kind of have 2 different ways to extend it, correct or no?
No, there's one.
Oh, okay. I thought the holes in the metal.
No,
that you could adjust it that way too.
Those are decorative.
Oh, okay. Not functional, just decorative.
It looks having the holes in that extension piece on the stock rather than having it just a flat bare piece of metal. Just looks a little bit, and it lightens it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm happy with that. We still need to do some testing and find a person that can manufacture them. I'm going to talk to some people probably next week and see where we're going with that. But hopefully that will be on the website soon. And the guys at Utah Air Guns are excited about them. I've got what's his name? Not Matthias.
You're talking about the kill guy. Thaddeus.
I have Thaddeus is testing these also because he has a Talon.
He's a fan of those.
Yeah.
The Talons and the Air Force.
They're cool little guns. I like it. It's just a great, simple air gun. Yeah. And it's a great one when you're taking new kids out shooting.
Very simple.
Yeah, it's easy to shoot and not too complicated. Other than that, I have been shooting the Marauder a bit.
Popping some faces.
Yes. But I have a couple of stories that I want to share. First one, I was at our bike practice last night. I was talking with one of our other coaches, and this guy he's immigrated from China. Mm-hmm. Both him and his wife. Super cool guy. And I don't know even how we got on the subject, but they just bought their first gun.
What did they buy?
P07 CZ.
Okay, that's
yeah. And I told him, a good gun. I mean, I would have gone with the P10 over the P07.
Yeah,
but not a bad gun at all, especially for a first one. And they want me to help them learn how to shoot and be safe and things like that. So I'm like, great. We were talking about that when we could do it and everything for both him and his wife. And he was like, yeah, and I want to get, a shotgun and a rifle, and I just want to have the basics. I'm like, great. I'm like, I will help you out. We'll go to the range. I'll bring some of my stuff so you can shoot and figure out what you want. But he then told me the story of when he came to the U.S. So apparently there's...
By the way, if you need extra things to show them at the range, yeah, just stop by my place.
Okay.
Stop by the taco shop.
Yeah. So he was talking about, he grew up in mainland China, took these tests, and got a scholarship at Penn State. So he's like, when I was getting ready to come to the U.S., he's like, there were 3 things that I wanted when I came here. He says, first, I wanted to get my degree. I went, okay, that's understandable. I wanted a car. He's like, no specification on what kind of car. I just wanted a car. It didn't need to be new. It didn't need to be nice. I just wanted a car. And I wanted to be able to drink cold orange juice whenever I wanted. And I went, holy crap, Jack. And my son, Ian, he's 12. He's at practice, obviously. He's walking by, I grabbed him, like, Ian, come here right now. I'm like, Jack, tell him that story. And we talked about, I said, you know, the generations coming up right now, you know, I'm talking like 20s on down, are so entitled in this country. I'm an American, so I deserve this.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You don't deserve crap. What you deserve is the opportunity to be as successful as you want without anybody getting in your way. And he said, that's exactly why I wanted to come here. And he is very successful. He's an engineer, does really well, has a couple of nice cars, nice house, you know, and it was just so nice to have that.
Fridges of orange juice.
I'm sure. Probably has one just for orange juice.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, and even me, that was somewhat of a revelation to me that, wow, I can't imagine being in that mindset of this is all I want. If I could just have that, life would be great.
Yeah.
And I just want people to think about that and talk to your children about that and just be like, we've got it good in this country because we have the chance to be successful if we want to.
Yeah.
Not because we deserve it. That's the big
exactly.
difference.
And I think those opportunities, the way the country is headed right now.
Oh, our government feels like we just need to take
up.
care of everybody.
Yeah.
Let's just enable
But by doing all that
everybody.
stuff, they're taking away the opportunities to rise above.
Yeah.
And to
exactly
achieve the American dream.
Yeah.
So.
No, they want everybody to be reliant on them.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they have control of you.
Yep.
And that's not cool. Last story, and this doesn't have anything to do with guns, but it's an interesting story. So earlier in the year, you took your boys up to
the Scouts, the young men's group,
to Ding and Dang, Slot Canyon near Goblin Valley. Last weekend, we took our young men and our young women.
Oh, nice.
On this
ages what to what?
12 to 18.
Ooh, that's feeling a little.
Yeah. And we had a good handful of kids that spend way too much time on the couch and are in horrible shape.
Oh, geez.
So it was
That's
a challenge to get everyone through.
Just to put this in perspective, if you look up reviews on Ding and Dang slot canyons, it's not a beginner thing.
No, it's not.
And
I knew that.
I know you knew it, but just for the listener, so they know what kind of a hike it is.
And I tried to convey that to everybody, because I figured there's going to be some that aren't going to want to go. And there were. But some that came, I was like, really? Okay. I'm not going to tell you no. We'll get you through it.
Yeah, there were like I mentioned in that one podcast that one of the boys peed his pants because he was like so afraid.
Yeah.
And so there are parts where, depending on if you're going up Dang and down Dang.
We went up like you guys did.
So you do more rope climbing instead of trying to.
It's a lot more physical. It's overhanding up these fixed lines.
Yes.
And it's short distance. And for the most part, the chance of severe injury is pretty limited, except for a couple of spots.
A couple spots where,
unless you do something stupid.
We ended up roping up a boy for the one spot that the Star Wars area, the sand pit. Yeah,
I went to the top of that and threw a hand line down and just wrapped it around my waist, and I was the anchor. Yeah, for people on that section.
Yeah, that is a one where if you slip and fall, you'll die.
Yeah. Chances of slipping and falling are not very high. If you were paying attention, it's just. So anyway, we get into the slot canyon, and we're like literally maybe a quarter mile in.
All right. First off, was there water in the stemming sections?
Yes, in some of them.
Okay. Were there 3 sections of water?
There were
in Dang.
In Dang, I think there was 2, and there was one really muddy section.
Okay, so one of them probably dried out.
Right.
Yeah.
Sort of. So we get to that muddy section, and I'm toward the back helping people and everything, and and my wife was with us and my 2 kids, and Ian was gone. He was way
Yeah,
ahead.
he's like, I can do this.
Sage, my almost 18-year-old, was behind me. My wife, she just nobody wanted to get in that mud. It was thick, gooey, slipperier than snot. And so my wife stayed low, and she just had her feet against one wall and her back against the other one and just kind of scooted along. And it was about, 18 inches wide where the mud
first
was,
one?
the trail. Yeah.
Yeah, so the first one is pretty skinny.
Well, the third
one
anyway,
is...
so
is
I'm like, and when you got to the end of that, then you had a hand line that you had to go up. Yeah. And I thought, well, I'm just going to span that. I'm just going to go right up to the top.
Oh.
And I didn't think it through very well, and I didn't look at it very closely. And so I just start going, and it's.
Did you run out of it got too wide?
It started getting a little bit wider, and the face of the rock that my feet were on went from an angle to vertical.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I stopped, and I looked down, I'm like, oh crap. I'm about 8 to 10 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not in a good situation. I don't feel comfortable here anymore. I need to get down. And that's when I fell.
Oh, dang.
And I didn't, it was a straight drop. And like I said, from 8 to 10 feet.
Did you bounce back and forth?
No, I didn't touch the rock. I cratered right into the mud on my shoulder.
Ah, jeez.
Yeah. And that's why my arm is wrapped up, because this is still kind of weeping and gooey. But I should have been broken.
Yeah, I was going to say, that fall with rocks and stuff, it could have broken you. And it probably should have.
It should have. The impact, I landed on my right forearm and my shoulder. And I am not a young man.
I was once a young man, and now I am not.
But what is scary is I was about 5 feet from landing on my daughter, which probably would have killed her.
Yeah, that much weight.
So I crater. Man, and my wife is just right up in front of me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine," and I'm head down. My feet are out of the mud. My arm and my shoulder are in the mud, and I'm like trying to get up. And I'm like, "Sage, just push me, just push me up." So she helps me get up. My hand is just caked in goo. And that stuff smells like an outhouse.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It's from all those boys who pee their pants when they get freaked out about it.
Great. So I go, and there's water now, and I just wash off in that nasty brown
pee water.
Yeah, but you know what? There were angels watching out for me, because I had a couple scrapes. That was it.
Dude, you're really lucky.
Oh, I know.
Really lucky.
And I was, I was the one sitting up at the top of those hand lines, grabbing kids and pulling them up with that right arm. And I'm like, my right shoulder is always kind of sore anyway, just from work. And some of these kids weigh way more than I do. And I'm pulling them up with one hand. And as soon as I would grab them, they just give up. They just go And I'm like, no, you have to keep climbing. And I'm like dragging them over the lip of the rock. I'm like, whatever, you're gonna feel that tomorrow. But it was a cool trip. We got everyone through. Took us 7.5 hours.
That's dang.
That's long.
That's dang.
It was way too long.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It was fun. And one of the kids, who was really nervous anyway, he was behind me when I fell, and he was in tears.
Oh,
he just thought I was dead, and he thought he was next. And so I'm talking to him like, dude, you're gonna be fine, you can make it. By the time we got to that really tall section, he came up there, and I was like, what'd you think? I said, that scare you at all? I said, it scared me a little bit. He's like, no, I was fine. I'm like, dude, you about wet yourself on that little 10-footer.
Well, what was crazy is, like, the boys that I took, they were not freaked out about the climbing, like with the rope. I don't know, maybe that rope gave them a sense of security. Yeah. But the stemming areas where you span the water and mud.
Yeah. Which you didn't even have to do that.
Yeah, or you get
wet.
Outhouse mud on you.
Yeah.
But it's, And then your shoes are all nasty, or if you take off your shoes and you got to put on your shoes and socks after getting all muddy and wet. It's kind of gross. But
it is.
That's the part that scared them the most, was the stemming sections where you...
And I got to those sections and I was like, oh, I could do this. And I had just completely lost all confidence and I just walked through them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, no, my head isn't right anymore.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
A couple of things, though, it taught you respect for, like, what you're actually doing.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, sometimes if you've done tons of stuff without any type of scares, you lose the fear, the healthy fear.
Right.
That keeps you safe. Yeah, it keeps you in check.
And we had a lot of kids that came through that I was like, look, you didn't think you could do that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Now you look what you accomplished.
Yeah, it's that ding and dang is like a life changer type thing.
Can be.
It can be for a lot. Well, for all the kids who I took through it, it was a life changer thing.
Yeah,
because
we had some that were like they'd done way harder stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Where you're roped up and you're doing 100-foot rappel into a pool and swimming out of the pool and stuff like that. So, but they all liked it. They all had a good time, and it was definitely life changing for some of them.
Yeah,
and wake up calls for others.
Yeah, dude, I'm so glad you didn't get dead. Landing on your head could have
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could be.
And you're not getting out of there. And we had a talk with the kids before we went.
Yeah.
Don't do anything stupid. No jumping from here to there. No doing this and that. And I looked at them all. I said, "You remember when we were driving out here and we went through Price?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's like 2.5 hours. That's the nearest hospital."
And it's a little...
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they all went, "Oh." And I'm like, "Yeah." And if you get hurt down in that canyon, nobody's coming to get you. We're have to drag your butt out before medical can get... even if they send life flight, they're going to land out by where we parked,
Yeah, that's cool. So quick question. Was there any water in Ding?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Just one section.
Okay. When I went through, we had water in all 3 sections of Dang.
Yeah.
But Ding just had maybe tiny little
puddles. Yeah.
Nothing real.
There were the big pools. I'm sure those were there in Ding.
They were empty.
Really?
Yeah. When I went,
these were totally full.
Oh, that would have been cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. We almost went down. We might have went down one of the pools. They're pretty deep.
I know. I could tell.
Yeah. So we went down in one of them.
Huh.
But you could get stuck in there without a rope.
Yeah.
On a couple of the others.
Oh yeah. For sure.
So
cool. Oh, you got to do what you did with guns.
Okay. Let's see. I've done quite a bit.
No kidding.
I loaded up. So I took those 338 Spectre 265 grain bullets, and I was doing some load developing. I went to the range and tested some out, and I loaded up about 400 of them as subsonics in my bolt action 338 Spectre. They do cycle the action of the AR-15, but with that short 10.5-inch barrel, they come out maybe at 900 feet per second instead of 1040. So it's kind of a decent drop in velocity.
Yeah.
But that was awesome. I upgraded my Lee APP press handle. I got one of those new roller handle kits from Lee, and I upgraded that. And man, it makes the world of difference.
Yeah.
Roller handles are the best for reloading presses.
Yeah.
So if any of you have any kind of reloading press that's not a single stage, the roller handle, man, it's
the way to go.
It's the way to go. And even on some of those single stage presses, you can get roller handle handles. Yeah.
Nice.
So that was super cool. I can't remember if I said I made some 460 grain 4570 hollow point subsonic ammo for Mark.
You were so talking about.
I finished those. You can hear those, but they're pretty dang awesome looking.
Those are ginormous.
They are ginormous. 460 grains is a pretty big bullet, and the fact that it has, a bunch of the bullet missing, that's pretty awesome. It's a very deep hollow point.
Flying ashtrays.
Yeah, anyways, I got those ready, but Mark hasn't been around to pick those up. Hopefully he can come get them, and so we can shoot them, because he's got to shoot them through that one silencer and his lever gun.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
yeah. They're quiet.
Yeah.
I got those going about 950, I think. So, anyways, did that, and I got a new mold this morning from NOE.
Yeah.
It's the 315-84 RF-AT2.
Wow.
And it's like
with
a
those names.
cute little bullet. So this is for, you can admire the cuteness of it.
Is that a 9?
No, it's a 32.
Oh, okay.
So this is for that Ivor Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
32 short.
Yeah.
I think 32 Smith & Wesson short. I think something like that.
That might be what I've got. I can't remember if it's a 38 or a 32.
Yeah, so this is just a little 84 grain bullet.
Cool.
If I cast them a little harder, then it'll be like an 80 grain bullet maybe.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna hopefully play with this and see. That brass is like tiny. It's like baby brass.
Yeah.
I sometimes wonder like why people made guns those like in calibers that tiny.
Well, it seems like, yeah, back in the Old West, it's like they were either giant or puny.
Yeah.
There was nothing in between.
Yeah. So
I'll either shoot you with my 45-70 or my 32.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the 32 could have been like a gambler gun you'd throw up your sleeve or something. Yeah. I don't know. But like the fascination with tiny, like it's like a mouse gun cartridge. Uh-huh. I don't know. Anyways, so
well, that's cool.
Test that out. But and then I got around to testing that digital PID box.
Oh, yeah?
I threw that. I connected it to, or added the thermocoupler to the RCBS Pro Melt, the old RCBS pot I have. Uh-huh. And hooked it up to that. And so I could set the temperature with that box, and then it would control my RCBS pot and keep it at a specific temperature. Oh. It was pretty awesome.
It's working good?
Yeah, so
cool.
Thanks to Corky S for sending that in. But yeah.
Nice.
All right, we have a few minutes left for a Taco Top 5. And now it's time for Tacos Top 5. So for this week's Tacos Top 5, it was Top 5 Conceal carry guns.
I have EDC guns.
EDC
Everyday
guns.
carry. Okay.
Yeah. Now, my answers are going to be, some of them are going to be different from Jason.
I'm sure they're all going to be different.
Well, we'll skip that other section of stuff for a different day.
Maybe we'll do that on the next episode.
Yeah, next episode. But what I was going to say is, for me, what I carry, and this sounds very hypocritical, right? Uh-huh. What I carry, EDC, is not what I would recommend for like 99% of people. Sure. And we can talk about it.
That makes sense.
Afterwards. But let's go ahead and...
What's your top pick?
Okay. These are...
We can just jump right into
All right. These are the top picks for other people.
Oh. For other people. You're not even going to include what you carry.
I will include what I carry and why.
Okay.
But... Or do you think I should just...
I think you should jump in with what you do.
Okay. I have 2 EDC guns.
Okay.
And both of them are not ideal.
Okay.
One is a Glock 19.
Okay.
And the reason I say it's not ideal is it's fatter, it's wider.
Okay.
And so it's a little bit harder to carry nowadays. And the reason I say it's not ideal is because there are smaller options that do the same thing now.
That's true. I carried a Glock 19 for probably 4 years every day. I think it's a fantastic EDC gun.
It's a great EDC gun, but there's better stuff out there now.
I would agree.
But I am not willing to jump to those with my 2 options. Okay. So.
Okay. Glock 19 is actually on my list also. It's not what I carry anymore, but I think it is a good option. And if you're really small, if you're really thin, it's probably not the best option. If you're bigger, it's going to conceal easier for you. Okay. So you need to take all that into consideration as well.
All right. And I was going to say for my Glock 19, I have this holster. I don't know what model this is.
That's a Cobra.
It's a Cobra?
Yeah.
Outside the waistband. Uh-huh. And so...
All Kydex outside the waist.
I feel like, for me, I'm a thin guy. Uh-huh. Jamming a Glock 19 into my pants.
Yeah.
Or shorts. Uh-huh. Is not ideal for me.
Sure.
So
anytime you carry inside the waist, there are some adjustments that you have to make.
You have to buy bigger pants.
You need bigger pants. Where you're going to carry it might change.
And a thinner gun really does help.
Oh, it does.
So
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, this is, and the reason I like this holster, and this is probably one of your old ones, right?
It is. It's got way more eyelets in it than I normally.
Way more adjustability.
It's got the date on the back of it.
Oh, this was 2015.
15?
Yeah.
That is old.
That's pretty decently old, huh?
Yeah.
But the reason I like this is because I like to carry this when wintertime or fall when it's a little cooler, and I just wear just a longer covering outer garment.
Pretty much anybody can carry a Glock 19 in a Cobra holster under a coat and conceal it just fine.
Yeah. And then I do have some specific, like, short sleeve shirts that are really long. Yeah. And sometimes I'll wear those, and then I clip this on. So the reason I like this also, and the reason I went with this before, is I couldn't carry at work previously. Right. Now I work from home, so I carry all the time. But I would have to put my holster on and take it off. Yeah. Like a lot. Yeah. And so having these two clips and the outside holster. The waistband, it just made sense. Yep. So that's makes it very easy. That's why I chose my Glock 19 and this holster for it. Okay. Well, my number one choice is, if you have listened to this show at all, you'll know exactly what I'm going to say. But I like the P365, and I carry that almost exclusively in the same holster, in a Cobra holster. Really? So you carry it outside the waistband? Yeah, okay. I do. Because it's comfy, huh? because it's comfortable. It's easy on and off if I need to for whatever reason. It's easier to get to than inside the waist. Now, depending on the holster, it's not that big of a difference in the draw, but a little bit. And if I have to go for my gun, any advantage I can give myself, I want to take. So outside the waistband, in that holster, conceals really well with that gun. And like you said, so back when I was carrying the 19, there was not a good small gun. There you had the LCP, and then there was the Kel-Tec PF9. You did have the baby Glocks, the 26. 26. Yeah, but it was just as it's just as wide. Yeah, it's just shorter barrel and shorter grip, and it's not a bad gun. It's just it didn't really solve the problems that you had with the 19. Yes, in my opinion. That I had a 26. And I had a 27 back in the day. I've never owned any Glock in that configuration. Yeah, and they worked. They're good guns. But for me, they didn't... The 19 is just more shootable, and it's not that much harder to conceal. Exactly. Yeah. And I did have the pinky extensions on those. Yeah. And I've got little hands, so the small guns feel fine for me. But yeah, so when your options were an LCP or a Kel-Tec PF9, and those are good guns, they're just not ideal. Okay. In my opinion. Exactly. So 365, good round count, super shootable gun. And that one is thin enough that like you could carry it inside the waistband, and it's not bad. Oh yeah, it's not bad at all. Yeah. Okay, what's your number 2? Okay, now this one is a horrible recommendation, but we've talked about this, and it is the Smith & Wesson. It's the scandium frame, and there's people who always want to correct me on that. It's not made out of scandium. It's a scandium alloy. Oh, okay. So it's not pure scandium. Well, okay, whatever. Yeah. It's light. It's light. It weighs like scandium. It weighs like hardly anything, right? So really, what it is a modern day torture device. Yeah. This one is chambered in 357. So if you could imagine one of the Smith & Wesson airweights, the J-frame airweight, only revolver, and lighter, but chambered in 357 instead of 38. And then I have a Hogue grip, which is a lot bigger than the little factory grip. Right. So I can get a whole grip on it. Right. Yeah, all hands, or my whole hand, and all the fingers supported on it. Right. and it helps it to be more shootable for me.
Yeah. And if you're wondering what it's like to shoot one of these with full power loads, just stand up right now and hold your hand straight out in front of you, palm facing out, and have somebody hit you with a baseball bat.
Yeah, or I was going to say, take a baseball bat on the, take off any rubber grip that it has, and then just smack it against a basketball hoop, like a metal pole.
Or a concrete post. Or,
something like that.
No, that's not even as bad.
Well, and part of that depends on what load you're carrying. So, but everything is amplified with this small, lightweight frame.
Yeah.
So I like to carry this when I don't carry my Glock 19.
Yeah.
And I carry it in my pocket in a little cheap pocket holster that I should probably replace sometime soon. It's got a little bit of wear on it.
It's doing the job.
It still does the job. It covers up the trigger guard and
it breaks up the print a little bit. And that's important also.
But one of the cool things is I can always, if I'm walking around. So one, I can wear it with shorts. Two, it's easy to throw in, and that's what I carry when I don't want to carry.
Yeah.
And so it allows me to carry even when I don't feel like it.
I think we all have guns like that.
Yeah.
I'll carry this when I don't want to carry anything.
So
yeah,
that's why I carry it. I do practice with it. I try and shoot it, almost every time I go out shooting.
And the difference is, and let's back up a little bit. Why that's not a good option for most people is because it's uncomfortable to shoot, which means most people aren't going to practice with it, and you're not going to get good with it. A revolver, especially a snub-nose revolver, is really an expert's gun as far as being able to be accurate and effective with it.
Yeah.
So
the trigger is it's a double action. This one
nice
actually has a really good double action.
Oh, I know. I've shot it.
So it's really smooth and not too heavy.
Yeah, yeah. But that's why most people you wouldn't
want to carry it because the recoil's bad.
Yeah.
And the sight has been upgraded, so it's got a fiber optic front sight. So I wouldn't say the sights are horrible.
Yeah.
But
any gun that you carry, you should be shooting it regularly so that. And
if you carry full power 357s, when you practice, you shoot full power 357s.
Yeah.
Mine, I carry 38 plus Ps.
Yeah.
And when I practice with it, I'll shoot everything.
Yeah.
I shoot some full powers just to remind me.
Yeah. I would say you don't have to always shoot the full power stuff.
38 plus P is less than 357.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
But the fact that I can chamber the 357s, a lot of times I use my medium 357 loads, and it's pretty similar to a 38 plus P.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, but not recommended. By no means are we recommending a 357 Scandium.
If you are relatively new to the gun world and maybe I'm gonna go to the gun store and get my first gun or whatever, and especially if you're a woman and you go into a gun shop and you tell them, I'm looking for my first gun, what should I get? If they show you a revolver,
walk out.
Leave, because they are idiots. That is the worst gun to start with. And there's going to be so many revolver guys out there that are going to be going nuts.
Yeah,
but that's what they grew up on and everything, but that's the difference.
Yeah, now if they were to, if it was for concealed carry, I would say, that's horrible.
Yeah. If
it was for home defense, and then you get like they say a GP.
Yeah, there's still much better options out there. A Glock 19, most people are going to be able to pick up a Glock 19 that have never shot before, and with a little bit of practice be reasonably good with it. With most any revolver, it's going to take a lot more for them to get to the same point as far as hitting targets.
Yeah, semi-autos are easier to use.
And striker-fired semi-autos are even better, in my opinion. My second gun, P365 XL. That's... And same, I usually carry it outside the waist. Both the 365s. If I feel like I need to be more concealable because I'm going somewhere that's a little more restrictive or whatever, I always go inside the waist with one of the CS1s, the hybrid holster. Those are super comfy. They're just a great holster, and I carry on the strong side.
Yeah.
So 365 XL, just a little more round count. It's got a red dot on it.
It's a little bit longer barrel.
It's a longer barrel, so a little better sight radius and all that kind of stuff. But I've shot them side by side, and I fully expected to be more accurate with the XL than I was with the 365, and there was virtually no difference. So that's why I carry the smaller one more. I'm like, hitting just as good, so why carry something bigger?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so my next one. Now these are ones that if I were to not have my Glock 19,
right,
I would own. And I also had on my list of recommended ones the P365. I like those guns.
They're
great.
Shoot them
well. They shoot like a bigger gun. Like
they do.
They're more comfortable.
Shootable.
Yeah, they're very shootable for a concealed carry size gun.
For something tiny, yeah, for sure.
So the next, I kind of throw these two guns in the same area, is the single stack Glocks that can be upgraded with the shield arms mags.
Okay.
To turn them into 15-round double stacks.
Okay.
And those are the Glock 48 and the
43X.
43X.
There's also a 48 MOS.
Oh yeah.
And there's a 43X MOS. So all of those fall into that same.
Yeah, those are
great options.
My next two guns if you want to.
When that 48 came out, I just looked at that and I went, that is the most useless gun I've ever seen. Why would you want that? You know?
Yeah, now
it's like, okay, I need one of those.
That basically, I wouldn't say made the Glock 19 obsolete, but if you were
pretty much. Because it's a thinner gun and it has the exact same round count. All the dimensions are all the same except the width.
The reason it's not obsolete is because I have many firearms that use the Glock double stack 9mm magazines. Sure. So I got a couple AR-15s and 9mm, and so the ability to use the same mags with a carbine and a handgun, that there is some value to that.
I'll give you that one.
But
I
was going to say, other than that, if you're just looking at the pistol, I think just having a little bit extra weight makes the 19 more shootable. Okay. But that's it.
Yeah.
So
I would carry a 48 with a shield arms magazine all day long.
Yeah. And that's what's funny about these different guns, like the P365 and the P365 XL, the Glock 48 with the and the 43X.
Yeah.
All of those guns.
The Springfield Hellcat.
I wouldn't mind shooting or owning the Glocks or the Hellcat. In my opinion, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as good in my hands as everything else.
I did not want to like it, and after I shot it, I was
liked it?
It wasn't so much that I liked it as much as like I can't say anything bad about it.
Yeah.
I prefer the SIG over. I think the trigger on the SIG is a little bit nicer. If you're a Springfield fan, you're gonna like the Hellcat. You're gonna love the Hellcat. So,
yeah.
My next one is the Glock 42, the 380.
The 380
single stack, and I have a TLR6 on mine and a pocket holster.
I didn't know you still had a 42.
Yeah.
Seems like the 42 is a gun that comes and goes. I've had two, I think, that have come and gone.
This is probably my third one.
Yeah.
But
they feel good in the hand and they shoot.
They shoot
well. It's just sometimes you have that debate in your mind. Was it 6 rounds that they hold?
I think so, yeah.
It's like 6 rounds of 380 versus and then
10 or 15 of 9mm.
Yeah. And that's where,
and that's kind of my gun. That's like, we mentioned a gun that I carry when if I don't want to carry, and I have a CS1 for it and a pocket holster for it, and I really don't like pocket carry. It's like one of the ultimate compromises, in my opinion. If you're sitting down, you're going to have a hard time getting to it.
Yes, that is true.
But
the other thing, though, about pocket carry, I have sometimes in the past, I put my hands in my pockets, and my hand is right on the grip.
Yep, you look totally casual.
I look totally normal.
Yep.
And I walking by some sketchy guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yep.
But it was
Fair point.
Yeah.
As opposed to walking by with it on your hip.
Yeah, with your hand on your garment, ready to flip it up. And
right. Yeah. So I really, really like the 42. It's just a fantastic little gun.
Yeah, I would agree. When it first came out, I thought it was dumb.
Same with me.
6 rounds, 380.
Yeah, well, Glock was like 2 years after, 3 years
and it's the LCP.
And the reason why I bought one is I had a group of Lehigh police officers that I was making a lot of stuff for, and they all started calling me, hey, can you make me a 42 holster? And I'm like, I don't have a 42. Well, I'll bring you mine. I'm like, okay. And so like the third guy that brought me his, I was like, why the 42 over like an LCP or anything else? And we were standing in the middle of my shop, and he looks over, he's like, okay, see that light switch on the wall? And this was about 20 yards away.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah. He's like, with my LCP, because they all had LCPs.
Yeah.
He's like, with my LCP, he's like, not only would I not take that shot, I wouldn't even consider taking that shot with my LCP. He's like, with my 42, not only would I not hesitate to take that shot, I'll hit that shot all day long.
Yeah.
And I went, oh. So I went and bought one, and as soon as I started shooting it, I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, the sights are good, and they're very shootable.
And it's a comfortable gun to shoot. It's tiny. It's not as tiny as the LCP. So the LCP still has that on it. But everything else about it is miles better.
Yeah.
So
now, as a runner-up, I've not shot one, but I've had lots of feedback. It's the newer, what is it? It's like an LCP sized, but it's their newer model. And it's a 9mm.
Yeah.
I forget that model.
I can't remember either. I haven't had anybody ask me for one.
It's very forgettable. No. But anyways.
Oh, they do have one, I don't know if this is what you're thinking of, that is in direct competition with the Hellcat and the 365.
What is that one called?
I can't remember. The trigger on it is really bad. I haven't shot one. I've dry fired it. Okay. And I just was like,
I've got 2 friends who have bought the Rugers.
Really?
And they love them. They say it shoots really well. It has the fixed sights.
Okay.
But they're a little...
Is this the little LCP one? Or is
it's a little bigger.
Yeah. It might be that one. I can't remember what it's called.
If the listeners can remember what that model of Ruger is.
And I love Rugers. You guys know that. But the trigger was not good in my opinion. It just... Yeah. It was kind of...
Was it the LC9S?
That might be.
I think so.
Well, that's the LC9 is its whole. That's a whole nother.
But it's a LC9S or something.
No,
it's like
that's been out for a while.
Yeah. Anyway, it's one of those.
And the LC9's got a horrible trigger. The S, I think, addressed the trigger.
Yeah.
But anyway, what was you have one more?
No, that was it. Basically, I said I would take any of those Glock.
Oh yeah,
48.
My last was I had a Hellcat or a Glock 19, which are total opposite ends. But those are both good carry guns in my opinion. You know, as far as holsters go, I mostly use the Cobra and the CS1. I use a pocket holster periodically. My ASP holsters, which are appendix carry holsters, nah. If you like appendix, I've got them for you. I don't like appendix carry. And then
a lot of people do though.
Yeah, and a lot of them are trying to convince themselves that they like them, and they aren't willing to admit that they don't because there's too strong of a presence on the internet of appendix carry fanboys. That's my opinion.
Carl likes it, or he thinks he does.
But if you talk to him, it's only for very specific situations.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with appendix carry. In my opinion, it's only good in specific situations. It's not a good everyday, all day, no matter what you're doing carry. So, and then off body, we do an off body holster, so it velcros into a bag or a pocket or something like that. That's I almost never use that, but it's not a bad option for a backup or.
Yeah.
If you just can't carry on your person for whatever reason, I would argue that you can, but
yeah.
If you're not willing to make those compromises, it's mostly women.
Yep.
But anyway, those are our expert opinions
from a holster maker And from a guy who melts lead and makes bullets. So take it for
what it's worth.
Yeah.
But then I'd be curious what other people, what they like. If there's something that
there's lots of guns out there.
There's great options out there. There's probably a dozen other guns that we didn't even talk about that would be perfect.
Yeah, like the old cars,
Cars, they make great pistols.
They were the
you're
first.
Back to the single stack.
Yeah, first of the single stack 9s.
But
the thin ones.
They've got really nice triggers in them.
Yeah.
It's a double. It's a
CZ makes some good ones.
Yeah.
That are not really small and compact necessarily.
They do have the CZ Rammy.
Yeah.
Which is
the Rammy P.
Which is more in line.
That's an older one.
It is. It's more in line with like the Baby Glock, the 26, as far as size goes.
They have some, a couple SIGs that are the older style. Anyways.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guns out there.
CZ P10C.
Yeah.
Same boat as the Glock 19. I actually like it better than the Glock 19.
Yeah.
But so I don't know why I didn't put that on my list.
Yeah, and if I were carrying a full size, it'd probably be the CZ P10F.
P10F.
Yeah.
Great gun. Yep.
It has 1 million rounds in the mag.
Oh my gosh.
What is it, like 20 rounds?
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
Almost a whole box of
ammunition. It doesn't weigh as much as my CZ, what was it? Oh, man.
Like an SPO1.
Yeah, the SPO1.
Yeah.
So that one weighs a ton, but it shoots so nice because it weighs so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, the CZ P10F, I think that's the gun I took shooting last, handgun-wise. And just shot at like hundreds of 9mm.
I believe you got that from me.
I did, and I like
gun.
it. And it has a good holster. I have that one with a drop leg.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Cool, well, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Hey, and if you are looking for a concealed carry holster, go to concealmentsolutions.com and use coupon code
Show Me the Candy.
And that'll save you...
Saves you 15%, and I usually throw some swag in on top of that.
Nice.
Also, make sure you check out Magholder at magholder.com. He's got a few different coupon codes. Get in the van, have candy.
Yeah, I was going to say the best way to carry your spare mag.
That's what I use.
So
I make mag carriers of my own, and I use a mag holder every day because it's horizontal and it doesn't poke my chub.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Until next time, stay safe, have fun, take someone shooting.
See you next time. More than once I've recorded with Carl during Gun Dudes days, and we finish and he's like, oh crap, it didn't record, and we would do the whole thing over again.
Yeah.
And it was always flat the second time. Oh, there's no spontaneity.
Yeah, and you try and tell the same jokes, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like,
heard that already. Exactly.